Well, it seems like a good time for an update on our mini fruit forest. Right over here is the lychee tree. It was big and beautiful, and that was many years ago because we have had problems with the lychee Aranos mite, and so we've had a slight change of plan for this area. Basically, the original plan was to have a lot of fruit-bearing plants in the understory of this tree, but there's going to be less shade going forward, and so it's a good thing we have mango trees planted because they do like full sun. Basically, eventually we will have things, vines and such, that are growing up this tree and hopefully be producing fruit. But anyway, the stuff that's on the ground has been growing away and looking great. This is our fingersop tree, and it is looking lots happier than when it first got in the ground here. So I do not see any fruit forming at this point, but it had a couple fruit last year, so hopefully we'll have a few more than that this year. This was a seedling that just happened here, mango seedling. It had gotten pretty big, so I grafted onto it, top worked it with Seacrest mango, and this looks like it could be producing fruit this next year. This last season it actually had 3 fruit, and then we had a big wind and then it had 0 fruit. This other tree here, sort of the same thing. It just started growing and it got big enough where I didn't want to dig it out and wanted it to be a plant instead. So I grafted some other varieties on here. A lot of I think it's Francis Hargrave. It's a new variety for us. Of course, we have Monstera here, which is a little ways away from the lychee trunks, and so want to encourage it to grow up because that would look nice, I think, to have Monstera growing up these lychee trunks. We've got miracle fruit here. Whoops. These are a little bit shorter than they used to be. I wanted to keep them small and so that the bigger plants can be growing above where these are. Nice soursop tree. And then I have a peanut butter marmalade plant. And these 2 custard apples are actually the same variety, and I am trying to grow them straight up and see if we can have skinny, tall custard apple that produces a lot of fruit. Then there's a tree back in here. It's another one of those situations where a little seedling mango rooted through the pot and into the ground, and so I made a little space for it. Haven't weeded recently, in case you hadn't noticed, but this whole side of this tree is now grafted with apricot mango, which is a variety that Walter Zill saved, and he let me prepare some scions from his tree, and they all took. So probably in 2024 we will get our first apricot mangoes. And the rest of this tree is to be determined. It's still a seedling variety, and so I have to, it's been protecting the new grafts from the sun, but I have been thinning it out lately, and I will be cutting it back fairly shortly so that I can graft lower down on the branch and put some other variety on it, or perhaps I'll just use the apricot mango still. And then we have one more thing over here. This is just a very healthy, gorgeous looking custard apple. I didn't plant it. It just started growing here, and so I figured, what the heck, I'll let it be and see what kind of custard apples it produces. So we've got all the plants in place. We've got some mulch to spread around after we clean up the place a little bit. I need to get rid of a lot of these weeds. And then I also have passion fruit, a couple vines to plant around the base of the tree and have that growing up the lychee trunk too. So right now it's not looking wonderful because of like tons of weeds, but I see the future here. I think it's coming along great, and as these trees start to get a little bit bigger, I think this area will really take shape.